Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back yet again with Daniel Mulligan. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, my man, buddy. How's it going? Well, happy Valentines to everybody. Happy Valentines to our wonderful, wonderful listeners, to all the
Of
lovers out
course.
there. Great day today, and I'm so happy to be here with you today on this great occasion and discussing Valentine's Day, man. Life is great, man. Glad to be here with you.
I'm psyched, buddy. I'm psyched. This is a great day. We're gonna celebrate, and we're gonna enjoy ourselves. Now, okay. So a few things. We were talking about Valentine's Day. One of our awesome listeners, actually, a few of them actually requested this topic, and
Thanks,
specifically
Jack.
few specific requests. One of them was a Valentine's Day from a scientific point of view, which was interesting to me because I never thought of it that way. However,
Mhm.
before we jump into those nooks and crannies of Valentine's Day, I just want to talk about so. When you publish an episode about Valentine's Day, some are super excited because they have their partners, they're in a good relationship, yada, yada, yada. But some are single and they despise that. What do you have to say to those people if they're listening?
Well, first of all, I believe that if you are right now listening to us and you are saying like, "Oh my gosh, I hate Valentine's Day because I'm alone and you guys are not, and that's not cool." Understand this: Valentine's Day is actually a great occasion for you, the single listeners, because in that case, you now have the motivation to actually start looking for, I don't know, some love, some relationship, some comfort, and ultimately, you want to use this day as an occasion to remind you that life becomes a lot more interesting, basically, with this so-called co-pilot, right? And if you guys want to know more about this, we're going to watch a great movie called Up in the Air, one of my most favorite movies of all time, starring George Clooney. And there's a part where he's actually trying to somehow give motivation to his basically family member to get married and all that stuff. And he says, life is just much better with a co-pilot. Now, we're not here proposing you just got to go get married right away because, I mean, that's we're going to talk later about the science behind it all. But what I'm saying is life is a lot more exciting if you have someone to share it with you. And it's not just about, let's say, having necessarily a lover, but just having friends and people around you. But of course, the connection you will have with basically a member of the opposite gender that you love. Of course, if some of our listeners are gays or lesbians, the same thing applies to you as well. Of course, I mean we're not going to just go specifically for sexual orientations. For LGBT members, if you have basically someone that you truly like, and you feel a great chemistry between you guys, whether you're straight, whether you're gay or lesbian, ultimately you feel a great sense of connection here, and that allows you to truly tap into the power that comes with love, with being in love, and with sharing love. So ultimately, I believe that for those of us who are single, it's actually a great occasion, a great reminder to get busy looking for a partner. There are many ways, of course. And if you probably checked my last post on Instagram about how much I hate Tinder, you probably know that I do not recommend Tinder at all to both ladies and gentlemen. But still, there are a lot of ways to find love, and this day could be a great occasion for you to, somehow get motivated. Just be like, oh my gosh, these guys got partners I don't have. So why don't you just, get off your ass? Because your partner's not going to knock on your door like, oh, hi there, Mark. How are you? Do you want to be my boyfriend? That's never going to happen. The girl you want, the boy you want is not going to just knock on your door and say, let's be my partner. You're going to have to do something. Even if you're a girl, you still got to put yourself out there, and ideally in a very nice way, appearing, elegant, intelligent, beautiful, well-dressed, all of these things to attract the attention of the opposite gender. And generally speaking, you have to work at it. And for those of us who are single, still, this occasion is a great reminder to get busy looking for love.
Awesome, great. Yeah, it's those who do not have a commitment. This is how I look at it. Those who do not have a commitment want to create that commitment. Well, commitment, you know what I mean. That's a relationship. They want to create that, and the other ones, I think we need to think about what are the ways that one can recommit, rather like reaffirm, establish their relationships and improve that. So I want to talk about all of that. So you mentioned the latter part. Now let's jump into the sorry, you mentioned the first part. Now let's jump into the latter. Now, one specific request of one of our listeners was, how do you evaluate Valentine's from a scientific point of view? So can you, first of all, how can you think of Valentine's Day in a scientific manner? Can you explain that for
Well,
us?
That's right. Well, first of all, our listener wanted us to dive into the matter on a more scientific, psychological basis, and as opposed to just, oh, it's the day of love, just go buy candies and whatever it is, and just be with your lovers. So he wanted us to perhaps discuss this matter from a more scientific point of view, that is, talking about facts rather than just happy, happy, happy feelings, and whether or not Valentine's Day is actually a good day to celebrate, and more importantly, whether or not it is worth to try these things. These celebrations and whatnot, and from my point of view, Valentine's Day, I mean, if you look at, the whole occasion from a scientific view, there are, various aspects and various ways you can look at this. Number one, of course, is from a social and socioeconomic perspective. Now, personally, I work in different countries around the world, and I do know that Valentine's Day, if you look at it from a business point of view, is a great, occasion for the same reason that Black Friday is a great occasion or the New Year is. So it's a moment where people expect couples to engage in various activities, including going out to fancy restaurants, buying gifts, flowers, all those things. So because of that, it's a very important occasion financially, which is why a lot of not only you think like perhaps it's just about certain industries like restaurants or clothing or I don't know gifts, but almost all industries now use this as an occasion. So that's what I personally don't like to consider, because I believe that yes, when there is an exploitative approach towards this concept where people want to abuse or take advantage of an occasion to make profit from it, that's definitely not good. And that is why we should be very careful about these occasions. And a lot of the traditions that are now practiced by Valentine's Day might not necessarily be a right thing. For example, think about consumerism. So I really believe that when it comes to a great connection between two people who share a lot of things, a lot of feelings and a great emotion together, they are not necessarily supposed to engage in exorbitant acts of consumerism to show how much they love each other. I mean, maybe right now a lot of our listeners are just college graduates or college students who are struggling to pay their loans and don't even have money for the basic things, let alone just going to a fancy restaurant or buying fancy gifts. Which is why, if you look at Valentine's Day as a major socioeconomic point, you realize that a lot of the things that are taught about Valentine's Day are not simply correct. So you do not have to take your girlfriend or boyfriend to a fancy place. You don't have to, put your half a month's salary to buy a fancy gift to tell your partner you love him or her. You don't have to just, go out of your way, because a lot of these things are made to somehow promote sales, just like anything else can be. So because I believe that Valentine's Day really is nothing more than a great occasion to celebrate being together with your partner in the best way you can and to show that you love. Because ultimately what truly makes a relationship exciting is how much love there is in between you guys. And if you want to just show that by how much money you can spend on the girl or on the boy for one night, that is simply not true. So that's from one aspect of it. The other point, obviously, is from a psychological point of view, in that Valentine's Day is this day that is supposed to be for lovers and is supposed to be a means to celebrate relationships, just like other occasions like an anniversary. Now, when it comes to events, we have two types of events. We have personal events like a birthday or anniversary, which is coupled based on each couple's history, and then there are those that are universal, like basically Valentine's Day or the International Women's Day, which is celebrated all over the world, of course, more specifically in countries like Russia, where it's quite popular. As a matter of fact, I know right now a lot of my friends don't even believe in Valentine's Day in Russia, and they actually celebrate only International Women's Day, which is March 8th. So ultimately, it depends on the context. I really believe that Valentine's Day is just an occasion like any other. And what really matters is not whether or not that day will come, but whether you are ready to actually share your love. So taking it too seriously might imply that you are not taking care of your relationship throughout the year, and you're just waiting for, I don't know, an anniversary or a Valentine's Day to make your relationship actually better, which I'm against, as you probably know. I'm a fan of creating a lifestyle with discipline, with order, and with consistency. So, but unfortunately, we know that a lot of people are simply not that consistent. They're not necessarily that disciplined. So a lot of the couples, they just tend to neglect their partners throughout the year. And then there's these two occasions, which is like an anniversary or like a Valentine's Day. And oh boy, it's time to start loving. But the time to love and to share and to care is throughout the year. It's like every day should be a Valentine's Day, technically, if you are really in love with a girl or a boy that you like. So every day should be like a Valentine's, not just one day or one occasion, which is why I believe that the most scientific approach to Valentine's Day is to understand that, number one, This is indeed a socioeconomic event. It's been used a lot these days to promote consumerism. And if you really want to love your partner, you don't necessarily have to follow the traditions, basically, that are quite common. And number two, understand that Valentine's Day should not be the only time of the year where you really show how much you care or how much you love. That is not the only time of the year that you have to surprise your partner or to really demonstrate how much you care. Your whole life, all of your relationships should be like that on a regular basis. But then again, such days could be like a birthday, like a special event, somehow not just like, yes, it's time to actually do something. And from that point of view, you realize that yes, it's a great event and you can actually enjoy it and try to make the most of it. But ultimately, Valentine's Day is just an event like any other. It's really just a day. There's nothing so special about it. It's just like we earlier in our New Year episode, we just mentioned as well, that just like the New Year, there's nothing special about the New Year. There's nothing special about Valentine's Day or any other, so-called special event, because ultimately these are just reminders. And if you are the kind of person who can actually do things consistently and with discipline, you probably won't even feel that much different on Valentine's than you will feel on other days, because your love and your affection for your partner is always going to be there, no matter which day of the year you're in.
Awesome. That actually. So you mentioned the moment you mentioned about New Year's. We had that conversation a few episodes back on our New Year's special, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like when you talked about that, not so like it's a good excuse to remind ourselves of that occasion, whatever it is, New Year's, birthday, Valentine's Day, etc. Now, however, there's nothing super special about them. It's just a random day on the calendar. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate, like, this is my point of view myself. I really appreciate you using these excuses to evaluate ourselves, remind ourselves of circumstances. And I'm making it general because I wanted to apply to any of these holidays or named days. But at the same time, not taking them too seriously, because then you're setting yourself up for disappointment and heartbreak and all that, which is obviously not the point. So I appreciate that. Now, we're going to come back to this a little bit later, but we had another explicit request, and I want to talk about, like, a question, and I want to talk about that, and that is, okay, how do you, so you mentioned that you want to not take it too seriously, but you want to enjoy this day, and you want to make your partner special and all that. Now, one question was, how do you do that? And specifically, how do you surprise your partner on such a day?
Very nice. Well, first of all, as you probably know me, I'm a huge fan of strategizing. And I really believe that if you really want to surprise your partner on Valentine's Day, just don't surprise her on Valentine's Day because she expects to be surprised. You see, the whole point of surprise is that she or he does not expect that surprise, right? So because of this, here's my advice to you guys. Do not, I repeat, do not ever try to surprise your partner on critical major days, be it Valentine's Day, be it International Women's Day, be it her birthday, be it your anniversary. It doesn't matter. Don't you ever dare surprising your partner on these days, because your partner simply won't be surprised. Because when she or he expects surprise, that is not a surprise. A good surprise is where he or she does not expect it at all, which is why when it comes to surprise, again, that's my style. I never, ever surprise my partner, ever, when she expects it. Never. It's never going to happen. If she expects some sort of surprise, then it's not going to be a surprise. It's just going to be, like a lazy excuse to just do something together, right? Which I don't like it. So the number one advice to all of our listeners about surprising your partner: never, ever surprise your partner on a special occasion, be it anniversary, be it, I don't know, for example, Valentine's Day. Instead, you must find a random day where your partner least expects any and all kinds of surprises. The same thing also goes for proposals. I mean, like, if you think of, like, the most creative proposals, they never happen on special occasions. Now, I know right now we're going to, we're now basically today's Valentine's Day, but maybe a lot of couples decide to propose today. But that's a huge mistake, because if you propose today, if you choose Valentine's Day or another major day like International Women's Day to propose, then come on, that's not a surprise. The best surprise is when your partner is in her pajamas having popcorn and watching some, boring show, and she just hasn't actually taken care of herself for a couple of days because she didn't feel like it. And boom, that's when you go for surprise because she doesn't expect it, right? So rule number one, do not surprise your partner on special occasions. Always pick days where he or she least expects it. That's number one. And number two, use Valentine's Day merely as a means of rekindling the fire of love between you guys, but do not overdo it. Again, do not overdo it because let's be honest, Valentine's Day is just a day on the calendar. Maybe on that specific day, your partner just catches cold. Maybe on that specific day, your partner simply doesn't feel like it. Maybe she just watches her favorite TV series all night and she can't even sleep. So she's all of a sudden just oh my goodness, she's all grumpy in the morning, right? So never ever limit yourself to any specific day on the calendar. My motto basically is no inner limits or outer borders. So when you limit yourself, like, listen, this is a Valentine's Day and I got to make it, man. It's only once per year. No, bullshit. You will have 365 Valentine's Day per year if you so want it. It's your choice. You can turn any day into a Valentine's Day if you really want it, which is why I'm a huge fan of actually doing the opposite. That is, if you think of my relationships, I'm not super excited. And not a lot of, major things happen basically on Valentine's Day or International Women's Day or even on anniversaries. I actually, ironically, do the exact opposite. On these days, I'm actually quite normal. We go through the traditions. Yes, you're going to do the typical stuff. I don't know, go out there and all those things. But generally, I tend to keep my best stuff not for any of these occasional, occasions or these, major events, but rather I want to keep them for the days where my partner never expects any major thing happening, right? Which is why I believe that you should not overdo it. Don't take it that serious because I know people get super concerned. Man, I don't know. Should I get a teddy bear? Dude, is this a too large teddy bear? How about this one? Is this smaller, right? If this one's people just get super. They start overthinking. Man, take it easy. It's not that important. It's just a day on the calendar. What really matters for both you and your partner is the quality of your connection and your love for each other. So if you want to make sure that your partner is going to be happy, just think about this. Do you want to do all the things you want to do for one day to make her happy and then what? So well, I'm done now. I've done my job. And then go back to your stuff. No, your partner would prefer you to actually be consistently in love with her or him, to be consistently affectionate, to do things for her on a regular basis. That's what your partner wants, not just one day or one occasion. Now, with that being said, of course, especially when it comes to ladies, women feel a very special feeling towards these special occasions, things like their birthdays, things like, Valentine's Day. So these occasions are not as important for men as they are for women, which is why if you are a guy, you should understand that, yes, even if that's the case, you still want to do your best to make, create good situations in these environments. But understand that what truly matters the most is not just to go through one day and say well, that was a great day, but to actually create Valentine's Day whenever you want. Whenever you want and you decide as a man, you can create a Valentine's Day for your partner. And in that case, it'll be even better because it is not expected. It'll count as a surprise. So what do? Do I actually buy teddy bears on Valentine's Day? Never. You know me, Poojies, for a long time. Wherever the majority goes, I go the opposite direction because I do believe that wherever the majority are going, unfortunately, in most cases, does not lead to where I want to go. So this is also, Valentine's Day. I can't remember the last time I bought, a teddy bear on Valentine's Day. But I do remember the times where I actually bought a gift for my partners where they least expected it, right? So for that reason, depends on yourself. Then again, you want maybe if you Dan, okay, I'm gonna listen to you. No teddy bear this Valentine's Day, and then you're gonna some problems with your girl. Oh my gosh, we're gonna break up, Dan. It's your fault. God damn it. The fact of the matter is that it depends on yourself and your identity. And if you really want to make the most of your relationship, you should understand that it's not just about one day. It's about creating a Valentine's year. Why a Valentine's Day when you can have a Valentine's year? And that, of course, depends on how much you're willing to consistently work on your relationship, make it better, and show to your partner that you really care. Of course, when it comes to further advices, I'll be glad to share you some specific advice on how to make your partner happy in this regard.
Awesome. That sounds very good, and I like the idea of not surprising on the most expected days or moments,
Exactly.
because obviously,
Never
like,
do that.
that's the point of surprise, right?
Exactly. Never do that.
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting. Now we are approaching the end of the show, so I want to give you the chance to. So those were the two main questions that our audience asked repeatedly, actually, and I want you to take this time and beyond the questions asked, if anything is left out that you want to talk about, please use this time. Go ahead.
Fantastic. So, first of all, today's Valentine's Day. So, I think the best thing right now here would be to give some tips for both men and women to improve the quality of their relationships. And of course, I begin first with gentlemen because unfortunately, we men have not been taught how to actually take care of a partner. So, the first advice I have for all the gentlemen out there who want to be in a good relationship is understand the importance of words and the quality of your communication. Unfortunately, a lot of men think that if I just buy my girlfriend some stuff, if I just am around whenever she needs me, if I drive her to the airport, if I do things for her, she will appreciate me and that she will understand how much I love her. That is simply not true. Now, you should not basically undermine the importance of helping your partner and trying to be there for her when she needs you, but understand that women need to hear and understand what you're feeling about her on a verbal level. So please work on your basically style of communication. Women appreciate a deep connection expressed verbally and not just through actions or doing favors. So why don't you use this occasion, like Valentine's Day, to actually start expressing how you feel about your partner on a verbal level, telling things to her that she appreciates about her appearance, about how beautiful you think she is, about how much you care about her, and all those things. Because we men oftentimes fail to do that because we don't need it. Unfortunately, we understand how much others care about us by their behavior, not through their words. So if right now my best friend says, Dan, you're the best thing ever. I really love you. You're the coolest thing. But this guy, for example, doesn't do my project. I don't say the bullshit, whatever you say. Because for us guys, what we really count on to judge people's basically opinion is not what they say about us, because words mean nothing to us. What really matters is what they do for us. I mean, are they there for us? Are they really going to put in the work? Are they going to listen to our advice, or it's just words? But for girls, things are a little bit different. The words do matter. So you can't just say, all right, well, she should know that I really care about her because I'm always there for her and I work so hard and I bring all those things. The fact of the matter is she has to hear it. So start vocalizing and verbalizing your love and affection for your partner as frequently as possible. That's for the gentlemen. And for the ladies, understand that your partner definitely appreciates being loved as much as you do. However, what men want in their relationship more than anything else is to be needed and to feel important. You see, a woman wants to be understood and loved, whereas a man uh, wants to feel that he is needed and he's important. So if you want to make your partner feel happy, make him feel important. Make him feel like the man. Make him feel like he can actually do things, that his contributions to your life are important and that his presence enhances it. So you also need to verbalize this and tell him things like, you're the man, or your presence means a lot to me, or what would I do without you, and these kind of things, right? So once we understand what we want in a relationship, and once we start vocalizing and verbalizing our feelings and affection with the people, only then the quality of communication in a relationship will actually enhance for both partners, and it allows them to have a far better relationship. So why don't we use this occasion, this great day, the Lover's Day, to actually understand that ultimately it's really about the communication. I mean, a relationship really is nothing more than a communication, but a very deep, very strong, and very caring and loving communication. And if you want to enhance the quality of relationship, you need to enhance the quality of your communication with your partner. And we can use this occasion as a great opportunity to work on ourselves and to actually come up with a variety of ways to express our feelings and emotions to our partners and create a much deeper form of communication as well as connection.
Awesome, man. That was a great episode. We had a lot of good tips and pointers here. You surprised us by saying not to surprise your partner on such big
Absolutely.
occasions.
Stay away from Valentine's Day. You want to surprise your partner, wait for a day where she least expects it. Ideally, she should be in a pajama. Again, that's not required, but that's ideal.
Awesome. That sounds good. That sounds great. Um, Pajamas are great. I love them.
right.
They're comfortable. All right. Okay, so we're kind of running out of time. So thank you for taking the time to talk to us today on such a special occasion. And I want to, yeah, thank you.
It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you. And I want to wish all of you guys a happy Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoy yourself, whether you're single or with partner. I hope you, if you're single, I hope you find a great person to spend your time with. And if you're in a relationship, I hope you can remember how much you care about each other and reaffirm that. And also, don't surprise each other on that day today.
Very well.
All right. All right. Until again, thank you. And until a later episode, have a good one.